Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. So, we had quite the move down yesterday in the E-mini. Oh my. Yes, and also bonds. So bonds did retrace more than 50%. Actually, because I said 110, didn't I? I don't recall. Oh, we're talking about support and resistance in the channel, so if you hear any comments, that's what that's going on about. Well, let's pull up the links though. Do see a little bit of movement before the open. We have news today. Of course, the usual jobs claims. The E-mini has come back to the low of yesterday. Well, the pre-news low of yesterday. That's not necessary. That's not a good sign, I don't think. There we go. Yeah, it's the traders who give them significance. I mean, yes and no. I think there's usually a reason why the traders pick that specific level, though, you know? All right. So check. Also got some trolls on Reddit that are calling us Russian bots, and it was an amusing conversation. Let's see. They responded. Oh, wait. Oh, nope. No comments, just some comments on school shootings. This person says it's doubtful that school shootings would go down any differently unless 100% of the teachers are trained and are carrying. You know, that's something that I find interesting about a lot of these shootings is that usually there is an armed guard. But like the armed guard is not confronting them. Okay, I guess, you know, maybe schools are just that big that... Okay, so here on the open, it's definitely a buy. We're seeing some significant volume go through here. They're all definitely trying to push it up, but don't have quite the numbers needed to bump through 120 yet, and we're at the top of the range. So I'm going to stand back. Maybe this goes through the high, which would be nice.
Juice said support is where I buy, resistance where I sell. Scale, my stop tells me where my trade is wrong, and all my trades are wrong until they prove me right.
Well, I think you can use support and resistance as like a... Okay, this is an area that has a high probability of touching. What happens when we get there? And yeah, if I'm taking a longer trade and I think they were range bound, there's a good probability of bouncing there, so I might just put my order in right there, or at least have my finger on the trigger. So they totally helpful information. I would point out here in the E-mini, for instance, that we're finding resistance at the pre-news low yesterday in the E-mini. I think that's important. And same here in ZN, which by the way Trade the Traders predicted, because I thought we were going to get to like to about 10 there, 50% retracement. We've gone further than that. So kind of seems to me that the Europeans were not too interested in shoving it further. Okay, well, they didn't get through there, and actually it took a good number of orders to push through, and they did clear it. I think that in this case it might be better for me to wait until after the news, but especially since I really think we could go lower. So yeah, well, I mean, after a trend day like that, the usual action is like 50% retracement and then move further. So I think we could go down again. Put that in the chat because I know not everybody watches the stream.
Fran said everything tanked in sync yesterday after the minutes. No explanation why.
Yeah, good point, Fran. It was a little odd. I think that for the inverse correlation to come up, things have to get really bad in E-mini.
Fran said, I guess it is a function of the rates, that's all you read about. Fran said bond markets are complicated. Fran said Chinese halted trading last night over margin calls.
Really? I don't see, let's see that. Here I'm
Fran
making all
said
these
surprised they
gross
haven't completely
noises.
blown up yet. Tucker said halted trading in what? And my plan is for a pop through 130 ONH on the news, then absorption into yesterday's spike around 180.
Man, you think they're going to go all the way to 180, huh?
Tucker said, I mean it's news, and you gotta have a plan. No telling where she stops.
Okay, so the news came and gone.
Fran said, I saw it on Zero Hedge, looking up the article now.
Okay, so unemployment claims was good. 222 versus 230. They don't seem to be moving.
Tucker said agreed with the overall short bias. And yeah, now that news is out and we're seeing nothing, I'm afraid it'll be another slow day. Fran said zerohedge.com.
Okay, so it was in the VIX. They shut down its VIX. I still don't know which way it's going to go, but I feel like their auctioning higher is not going so well. And I think yesterday's trend could pick up here. So we got the Bitcoin people in here. We should run our charts. I think it could tell us some interesting things here. I'll move that back. See that they did tick down. The 5 year is the one we want to watch, and we're not seeing a volume spike. Okay, so today's...
Fran said zerohedge.com.
Today's number, based on a price of 10,532, is 71. It does appear that we are in a pullback in Bitcoin here. We did not beat out this 1200, and we're pivoting. We're below the support area 10K. Well, not quite. We're in support right now in Bitcoin. I'm gonna say this area right here, support. Can't say if it will go up or down here. Again, though, it's a pullback. So if you are really bullish on Bitcoin and you're confident that it's going to be higher by the end of the year, you know, pullback, pretty good spot to get in, I'd say. Of course, I'll be eating crow if it comes down to 8, but you know, if we're truly in a new, you know, if the market's already bottomed, I think you should see something like, you know, this is just a bear flag. Or bull flag, or I forget which is which.
Fran said new claims, level 230K 220.
You don't need to hear that. It was 222 versus 230. Well, it's interesting the way Asian markets responded. Yeah, so also for you Bitcoiners, another thing I really want to point out here in the futures, pretty convincing move down, I'd say. They don't care. Been flat. They're not trading that. They didn't trade that at all. They didn't really trade it anywhere. It's like, except for this move right here. 400. Interesting. -5. 575, let's say. We are actually even lower than that last bump up. So the futures continue to overall sell it. But it's not a ton. Let's see if we see anything in the data mesh. Data mesh. Well, I see some shorts coming off this morning. I need to go further out. 48 hours, 2 days is a good, seems to give me a good pull on things. Okay, so shorts have been going up. They're coming off. Oh, no. No. That's bad. There we go. Does appear to be some shorts coming off, so. Well, gee, this just completely died, didn't it? I'm gonna take a few bites here, because I really think that we could start auctioning the other direction and the whales show their hands again. I mean, it went really slow after the news for a second and actually went up until the big boys came in and were like, oh, actually, we're going short. So.
Tucker said RIP market volatility, February 5, 2018 to February 9, 2018.
Well, that's kind of curious that they made a new high and they're already having problems.
Alligator said, I guess many traders waited for their reaction around these levels. So far it seems some are trying to replay the scene. Trade the traders said, guys, I showed you the structure of the market, and what do? You play the game with your head and not the traders. Look at that again, what do you see there for a? Alligator said, I'm not convinced and think it could break up, depends on short end IMO. Trade the traders said.
Yeah, just watch it. Which one
Trade
is this?
the traders said.
Oh, is that the 10-year? Seems like he thinks it's going to go down through the
Great Bear said, are you saying it's going to retest the other side?
Okay, so they do seem more interested going short though. I actually think I could short it here.
Alligator said the narrative for yesterday's sell-off was the further, rate hikes, word. Yet we're at the same level and short end was supported during much of the downtrend. So I'm not sure why we.
So I'm not sure why we had such a move, but it's certainly not in phase with their explanation.
Fran said yes, no rational explanation for yesterday's move, confusing.
Well, pointing out to them that the FYT went up, that the spread actually steepened on the short end of the curve.
Alligator said either they use more ammunition but I see nothing RN, or they can't and bears are in danger, so my bias up, but they can reload maybe till 200 where they should have placed their stops. Fran said it's too quiet. Tucker said I'm bidding 125. Not seeing any trade back down low. Might as well test those heights.
This is IQ. No. That's weird. Bund is showing strength, only a pullback and close to high of day. JPY is moving up.
Alligator said agree
said. Of course. Of course. Ah.
Fran said what? IQ said thanks Seth. Tucker said CXL bid. Not liking the order flow for some reason, unsure what though.
This might go slowly if basically the 6J is not really going anywhere.
Fran said could be, watching the 6J.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even taken a trade, have I? Oh, I see. Yeah, you might be right.
Underscore NE0 said Seth, great site, thanks for that.
He was talking about the data mesh. Yeah, it really does look like they are done. Hmm. Here's this one. Well, ES is still moving up.
IQ said, what are you saying regards ZF? Seth.
Hmm.
Fran said ES took out O/N high. IQ said. IQ said ZF. I was just looking back at Facebook and seeing some of the headlines that I was talking about a year or two ago. And one of them was that Mitt Romney made Chris Christie eat meatloaf at the White House. And the media was shocked by it.
help get the kids ready about half hour, okay?
Wait, so do they not?
You just need to make sure they're...
Maybe it's a good day that it's going slow because you got to help get the kids up. I don't know. Hmm. Will Z be ticked down?
Alligator said long end slowly going down before ES open. Alligator said yeah, back to equities and USD drivers IMO.
Yeah, bird.
IQ said ZB only 7 tick range.
Monstar 99, don't touch legacy markets at all, but apparently yesterday was really volatile. Yeah. Now, hi, I'm Mr. Anderson 33. Sorry, I wasn't really looking at the YouTube chat. I guess, you know, that's a quiet market, and I kind of forget to look over there. Well, so to your comment, I don't know if you're still looking, Monstar, but here was the E-mini yesterday. After the news, we had a little pop-up, and then it just got killed. And the same here in ZN. Pretty good push, and they went and made it a new low for the year. So, I don't know. Yeah, you know, I kind of feel like at the moment, I feel like maybe yesterday was just a trade, since we're not really doing anything right now. But there's definitely still some, what do I want to say? That the market is still a little jittery, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, he's looking. Holy, yeah, it was pretty bad. The thing that was really crazy was just how it closed at the lows and everything was... I mean, it's not like the worst move ever, but it certainly wasn't a positive thing. Especially if we're trying to, you know, get back up to the highs of the year. That's kind of like a higher low. Or a lower high, is that? A lower high? And now maybe we make a lower low? Like, it's not good. You can get Dow theory in there soon. And the market gets really upset when Dow theory says that we're going to move down. Look here in ZF. Yeah, BTC looks like it's getting a little bit of a boost here. Let's see if it continues. Well, everything says that we're in a downtrend now. Sure doesn't feel like it, does it? Do kind of want to take a short here, though. We're starting to see CB come down. ZN hasn't shown up yet. Look at this big order here. How long has that been there? That's been there for a long time in CB. This is the time I wished I learned how to trade on margin. Well, I mean, what we're doing here is kind of trading on margin. You could have made a lot. I mean, that move in ES is easily $1,000 if you held it the whole way. Okay. That was a good push. Oh, Bitcoin is back over 1,000. That's good. School shooting survivor refused to ask quote-unquote scripted question during CNN town hall. The boy should have agreed and then asked his questions anyways. What are they going to do? Throw him out on national TV? It's so true. They may have them and their parents sign contracts to not deviate. I can't believe that in that town hall that the questions were scripted. Man. Reddit was really pushing that town hall last night too. I'm gonna have to watch that and see what actually happened because I haven't watched it yet. Why did the Vegas shooting get far less media coverage and attention even though so many more people died? I got a lot of media attention. This is like one of my most watched videos. Are you kidding me? Kind of weird. Hello. No audio here at the moment. Cleaning lady is here. Hi, Rackley. Thank you for your contribution to my view count. I mean, just at least had some trades under my belt. Yeah. Well, you know, the thing that can be really frustrating about trades like that is that they're really hard to catch. Yeah, and oh my. Tyler bought. That's interesting. Well, he bought, and they totally held him. I still, you know, my feeling is I still want to go short. But I know better than to fight a block order like that. He actually loses and we come back to the VWAP, then I think we could have a good short. So we'll wait. There was some buying there in the 5-year.
Alligator said depends on ZF strangely lagging while ZT touched R1 165.
Yeah, this is a little weird. And the E-mini has started trading, but they really aren't doing anything too fancy either.
Dad,
Uh-huh.
would you please get me a bowl?
Okay. Okay, well, E-mini is definitely going up. Well, let's reset our DOM here. Hmm. No, there's a story on CNBC about Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops below 10,000 again, hitting the lowest in a week. Okay, like, that's a big deal, I guess. Yeah. Well, it does look like they are pushing lower. We got a new candle here, and we're a little lower, so... I mean, I guess it is a little concerning just because, you know, we didn't get a higher high. Well, I guess that's a higher high, but we want to get past this. Really needed to get past this. And I said, you know, it could get up to 1800 and then stop. I guess I would say my chart would tend, well, let's look. Let's double check before I start mouthing off. Let's see if this is an accurate... Okay. When we hit the top, it goes all the way to the bottom. When we hit the bottom, it's done. Has it ever been a case where we hit one of these and it went lower before touching a top? Only that one. That one right there, and that was where we went like crazy overbought. And I don't see that happening here. I think that we need to get back to 100 first. So I'm going to say it'll keep going. Yeah. Well, we'll see. What if we let deep learning AI loose on trading markets? That self-learning AI watch learned to play Mario Brothers is pretty awesome to see. My cleaning lady's boyfriend sold his Bitcoin below 7K. She told me today, oh my gosh, it's so bad, right? I don't know. This is really like, what are you going to do? Because if you stop believing in it at that point, honestly, like, you have to realize that the primary reason for most people that got into Bitcoin, the primary reason they got into it was because it was going up. And if it's not going up anymore, why are you in it? Yeah, he only started buying crypto 3 months ago. Yeah. Well, I think I started in October, but I did it with Ethereum, and I was just mining. I didn't buy anything until January. Because I knew it was overbought. Well, actually, I take that back. I didn't really know it was overbought until like the beginning of December when I developed my indicator. And then I knew. Okay, that was a pretty good tick down.
Alligator said looks turning south.
You know, I don't want to flame people. Don't know much about markets. It's really sad for them. Yep, and I really need trading. Yeah, exactly. It's just unfortunate, but it's really hard for me to recommend to average people to buy Bitcoin unless, you know, they feel confident in making lots of moves and following it, you know? I mean, I suppose there's still this idea that you can just hold it forever, but I think that that's kind of based off of an old market, you know? Like back when it was made, sure. You could have bought it and lost 80% at one point and then held it and it eventually be a lot higher. The question is, how much higher is Bitcoin going to get? I mean, if it gets to 100,000 or 500,000, okay, maybe you could make 10, 100 times your money, but and I'm not convinced this is going to get that high. I think that to play this, you have to know enough to be able to get a reasonably good entry. And who knows? I mean, we may still get screwed over here. And I bought in at like 8K. Maybe it goes and makes a new low. I'd be really surprised. But I was really surprised when they went below 8K anyways. I only stayed there for a day, so. Okay, so the E-mini is coming off here. It was hard, but I exited like all of my altcoin positions except for the one I'm emotionally attached to now. I wish I exited that one too. The cheapest I bought that I can remember was around 1K. Well, it did, that was last year, huh? Yeah. I mean, so here's another crazy thing you have to consider. You look at people that bought before Mt. Gox, okay? They made a lot of money if they held it till now. But like, what percentage of people that were in the market at the peak of Mt. Gox are actually still in the market? I mean, I don't think that there's any statistics out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not even 1%. You know, but just most people don't do that, don't make that decision for some reason. Do you guys think altcoin season is really coming? I'm not so sure. I mean, I felt like for me with altcoins, I think that as Bitcoin goes up, the value of altcoins are going to go up in a proportionally, generally speaking. And if you have a really good altcoin that's undervalued, you have the potential to make even more than you made in Bitcoin. But, you know, at the moment, it really doesn't, the altcoins really aren't doing too well, are they? Bitcoin dominance went up. The rally hasn't been, you know, there was some of that Bitcoin went up and it went too high. And I don't know. It kind of seems like a folly to come in and say, well, I know that 99% of people don't actually hold, but I am, and I'm going to make money from doing it. There's a reason they bail out, guys.
IQ said ZB trying to close on gap.
Seems like what will happen is that altcoins will dump to their prior all-time lows and then will pick back up from there, which is the best game theory scenario if you're a market maker. I mean, I'm not quite sure where you get that from, but let's not be too negative here, right? We're still in pullback range. So let's look at this. Where were we? Let's just say that we hit 12. Then we should come down about 120 or 1,000. So we're more than 10%. How big do these tend to be though? $93, $13. %. They tend to be 30%. So $8,400. Wow, we really actually haven't come up that much, have we? Well, the short end in ZB is now below the VWAP. Okay, that was a significant uptick. Even he's not looking so hot. No, it's hard to buy it here, but I want to buy it. Current trends dictate that we should be buying. I definitely started to see volume pick up on the way down for a lot of altcoins in the past 36 hours. Oh, all of the charts that you see on KU Coin are done through TradingView, actually. Like whales doing something fishy. Well, I can see that. Here's the thing. The last move up seemed fishy to me. The move up over the weekend, that seemed fishy to me. And now us coming back down, not too unusual. And now all of a sudden accelerating below 10K seems fishy to me. Definitely seems fishy to me. And it's not in line with, for us to go down and make a new low would not be in line with what my indicator's done in the past, for sure. I mean, we just looked at it. When it touches that bottom, they almost always go back up to the top. And the only way that you end up going lower is you get back up to the top and there's not enough steam to make a new high. ETC and OMG. I'm not familiar with OMG, but ETC. Oh, held up well, and then all of a sudden the buying just gave up. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing with ETC, if I can bring up my chart here again, ETC still looks like it has some room. The fork hasn't happened yet, right? It's not till March. So I'm not saying go buy ETC, but it's possible that there's still some fuel in there. I don't know. I'm not too...
Alligator said ZF looks good too, but flow is so weak.
Yeah. I'm just not seeing a trade here today, which is really weird because normally on a time like now I would be over trading. But I seem like I don't feel interested in clicking. I'm not sure what it's gonna do. I don't see a spot. Maybe it's just because we're still above the VWAP and I still prefer to sell. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Man, how long has it been here for now? When it broke the high at 6:30. Now it's 8, so it's been 90 minutes. It's gone sideways for 90 minutes. Just below the high. Let's get back to hear what you guys say. Buy ETC. Yeah, no, I'm not saying buy ETC. I'm just saying the chart says the chart is not at its extreme yet. And just, you know, I have to be careful. You know, the chart is not gospel, right? Like, you know, a really good example here, Bitcoin Cash. I mean, I'm in it, but it made a high there. So I don't know. I have to say though, this Bitcoin Cash thing, if you're looking for like negative signs in the market, I think this is your worst one. Is that Bitcoin Cash barely recovered at all, and it's already showing overbought. Yeah, he knows. I know that you know I'm kidding, but there's got to be somebody out there that's really stupid and will do it and then say that I told them to buy, or, you know, some legal issue. I have to be like as absolutely clear as I can about this stuff, right? I know Ethereum Classic pretty well, and I got out. Okay, well, yeah. Anyways, like I'm still in the Bitcoin Cash one, but the chart looks awful right now. So maybe I should be getting out right now, but this is probably the most negative sign in there. And the only reason I'm still in it is because I say that I'm trying to trade off of the Bitcoin chart. So I'm saying Bitcoin, you know, when it goes to the bottom, it always goes back to the other side and vice versa. And you stay in it until it gets to that overbought or that oversold level. And so I think that Bitcoin will continue going up after this pullback, and Bitcoin Cash and everything else will continue going up with it. Yeah. But, well, so remember though that I said, okay, when it was here was when I was like, okay, this is a buy. We want this here. And it could go lower. Actually, I think it was right here. They said it could go lower, and if it goes lower, you know, I just want to buy more because it's bound to rebound. And look what it did. It did go lower. I bought some. And now it's overbought again, and we haven't gotten as high. I haven't seen that in any of the other charts. I don't think I have. Do we see it in another chart and I'm just only seeing what I want to see? We would have to. Most of these charts don't even have downturns. maybe these spots, but then like those don't even count because it's not a mature coin at all. I guess maybe Bitcoin Cash is just not mature enough of a coin. Oh, okay, Litecoin. Okay, so here's an instance in Litecoin right here where it did that and it went lower. And if you'd bought it at the bottoms, it would have been bad for you. Bitcoin is just a mess. Look at Verge. So Verge is another interesting one because, oh, where is it? There it is. We had a little bit of a tick up. Like that's what it took to make it tick up off of the bottom. Verge just looks like incredibly undervalued to me on this chart. I think that flat line means you should buy it, but it's never happened before in anything else, so we'll see how it goes. But I think that means I think that's good for Verge. Okay. So a little bit, wow. What is the E-mini doing? Yeah, you notice when the E-mini seems to be ticking down here, that we are ticking up. Okay. So that was a pretty significant uptick. Normally, we would make a new high under those circumstances. I can't, because we're not in trending action. I can't take I can't take the level break trade because it's a 50-50 if it'll make a new high here. Actually, I've tested this. Yep, I've tested it with a 4-tick stop. It's 50-50 if it goes lower or higher. Yes, sir. ZF has a target up there. Oh, I see. We'll see. The other one though is Ethereum. So here's the thing: is on the Bitcoin Cash thing, because I think there is another thing going on in Bitcoin Cash, right? And that is that it appears for the moment that Lightning Network is going well, and that Bitcoin Cash won't be needed in the long term. And so at that point, the argument for Bitcoin Cash ceases to be that it is faster, even though at the moment it is faster. When we'll see how long that lasts for. At that point, the argument becomes Bitcoin Core are jerks, and you just don't want to be involved with them. Okay, so that's the thing going on in Bitcoin Cash, but you look at most other altcoins, particularly Ethereum, doing pretty much the same thing. So it seems to me that whoever's buying at the moment is just more interested. Okay, so there was a new high and some stops.
Alligator said ag.
I can't even explain the market action with the spreads. No. That was a good move up, though. It was a strong move. Well, that was a lot of volume that went into 15. Why does this one reset with every price? It shouldn't be doing that. I don't understand why it's doing that. These ones never do that. Should only auto center when it's content. Let's just turn that off for a second. Turn the auto center off. It's still doing it. What's with that? I'm just gonna close it. It's broken. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Okay, now it's fixed. Much better. See, the people in ZB are actually getting stopped out. There is one bug in Lightning Network, isn't it? Lightning channel not refunding fee or something. So I don't know a ton about Lightning Network, but I've been reading a little bit more about it. And one of the things that I read was that for the Lightning to work, you have to keep the channel open. So the people that would be able to use it would be the people that are able to you know, open the channel and sit there and wait until the thing finishes. And then there's also this issue with like when you get a lot of traffic going through this graph, that the information propagating between each other, that there's some scalability issue with that, but I've only seen people make that comment. I haven't been able to confirm that. So it seems to me that there are some technical flaws with a Lightning Network, and it remains to be seen whether they will be significant enough to affect price. You know, there's a lot, it's really a confusing issue because there's a lot of misinformation out there, right? The thing I still get stuck on is, why didn't they increase the block size? I mean, like, if they do Lightning Network and they run into scalability issues, they have the option to increase the block size. And it's probably going to happen at some point in Bitcoin. But why didn't they just increase the block size last November? There was no reason not to do it. To just increase it to 2 megabytes, it's not a big deal. I understand the whole thing about, it decreases decentralization because not as many people will be able to run nodes if there's increased storage costs. But the 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte thing is not a big deal. Yeah, you're supposed to keep channels open. No, the other node can close it too, which is the problem, and you lost your money that you paid for the channel. Yeah, exactly. Like you open the channel and then you run a transaction, and both of you need to keep the channel open until the transaction is complete. Bitcoin will forever be a stock market, not payment, if you can't remove those market makers. I think that it's the way that Bitcoin is set up makes it speculative by nature. I don't think it has anything to do with market makers, because the value of it is completely dependent on how many people are using it. So let's just say that Bitcoin was the currency and nobody used anything else anymore. It was all Bitcoin. Or maybe Bitcoin and some competing altcoins or something. I'm sure that altcoins will never go away. The price of it would still change based on how many transactions people expect to happen in the future, basically. So if the economy is doing well, they're going to expect more transactions to happen, and that's going to make the price of the token go up. You get where I'm going? So, like, it's speculative by nature because use of it changes the price. And that kind of guarantees that it would never be a stable currency. I think that the cryptocurrency community kind of already understands that. That's why we had people have gone into trying to create coins that are stable. Maybe they succeed. This DAI thing that they got is pretty interesting, and it did work as a safe haven. I haven't looked at that in a while. Let's look at that. Coin market cap. DAI. DAI. Yup. Through the whole thing, it's never moved more than 10%. Pretty good deal. And what about Maker? This is the one that you buy into if you expect price for it to go up. Wow. Okay, so it's come down about 50%. I should move some of my Ethereum tokens into it. Its price in Ethereum hasn't moved much in a while. That looks like a good buy to me. It could be wrong, but it looks like a good buy to me.
Alligator said there's no appetite for sure, but remember recently we've had some days like that, very slow up, then rev and fast the way down. I'm expecting something similar. Alligator said BTW Bund is a good indicator for playing turns today, if you've the feed. Alligator said I would be happy with 170 today, if I see a rev around there I would play the downside maybe O/N. Alligator said wow, they're pretty optimistic.
Well, I've got to go take the kids away, so we haven't made any trades. I don't know if I'll make any more, but maybe when I come back, we'll do something. It really seems to me like over 160 would be not what is the word I'm looking for? It would be way overbought. So I think there is a possibility we see a reversal here. But we'll see. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes. We're just going to keep streaming. I'll be back. Well, actually, no, I do.
Trade the traders said I'm done +7. See you at cash close.
No, because I do have to go in today. So I might as well just take the kids and go. So I guess I'm just going to stop. So I will see you tomorrow.